my loves. Welcome back to Chemistry with Kismet Tarot. I'm Monica, the Kismet Chemist. If you're new to my channel, welcome to the family. I'm honored to have you. If you're returning, welcome back. I have missed you. Today's reading is incredibly special. It is a collaboration with my amazing soul sister, Alyssa from Celtic Fairy Tarot. And today, as you're watching this, if you are coming to it on the day it premieres, it is October 13th, Friday the 13th. Friday the 13th is known as Freya's Day. Freya is a goddess in Norse mythology. She is known as the goddess of love, the goddess of so many things, but more than anything, she is also known as the Queen of Witchcraft. When Freya announced herself to me 2 years ago, inviting me to connect with her, to get to know her, I was caught completely off guard. It felt powerful, meaningful, deeply spiritual, very surreal, and a deep, profound honor. One of the key parts of Freya is her necklace. And forgive me if I'm butchering it, but I believe it's pronounced Brisgamen. I'm likely butchering it. But this has been known through mythology. There are many different stories about it. One of the things that drew me to focusing on the necklace and allowing what Freya would like to talk to you about was the fact that in mythology, there is a story that says that Odin pretended to be Freya, and in order to pretend to be her, he wore her necklace, making it a key feature of herself. Now, many people or many mythological story arcs talk about Freya as promiscuous. She is very sensual, very sexual. And this necklace is seen as one of the stories behind that. But I got to thinking about how for a very long time in my life, I wore a singular necklace. And it became much like a talisman to me. It was the last necklace that I ever got from my dad before he passed away. And I wore it every day. And over time, I eventually took it off and allowed myself to expand beyond that point. Each one of these necklaces signifies a message from Freya. And as you can see, each necklace is here. Oh, and it is not holding, it's not holding a neck, so to speak. In other words, it's a necklace that has been removed. And this is the message that she wants to talk about for this day, for this time in the collective, for this time in your life, about the talismans that we carry, the things that we carry with us, that we wear as though they are a key feature of who we are. Now, while we are looking at each of these necklaces, we can view them as the physical representation, but this is more about the layers, the hats, the masks, the things that we wear, the things that we tell ourselves. And then we present to the public things that people associate us with. Freya has messages to help you connect back to yourself outside of all the storylines of everybody else, outside of all of everyone else's mythology about you. This is about you and who you are. And one of the biggest things for me when I connected with Freya was the fact that there's so much confusion about her husband. Freya's husband was not Odin, even though many storylines say that he was. That was not her husband. Her husband went missing, and much of her story is about the lengths that she'll go to find him because of the belief that she has in love. Painted in a certain way, she's seen in a certain light. As a queen of witchcraft, she was feared and exalted, but she taught many others. She gathered fallen heroes to help fight end battles. She saw so much depth in humanity and believed in each and every one of us, and she lived her life based off of her morals, her values, what was important and true to her. The necklace is seen as a talisman, a key feature of her, but it is mere trinkets to who she truly is, or was, or continues to be. This is the message that I am bringing forth. Alyssa is going to be focusing on the Valkyries and the messages of the heroes. We wanted to leave these messages more open. We wanted to make sure that we allowed for connecting to Freya and working with her in our own unique ways while honoring her together as one of the mutual deities that we both work with, respect, and love. So if you are coming from Alyssa's reading, or if you are here first, please make sure you check hers out. If you're coming from it, thank you so much. Alyssa, my love, my darling, I'm going to cry. You have been a rock for me in some of the most tumultuous waters lately. You are always there, always ready with compassion and empathy and understanding, all the way to our ancestral roots that we have found are woven together. I am so, so deeply blessed to know you, to be a part of your soul family, to be your friend, and to bring these messages to the collective with you. So thank you so much. Now, I'm not going to go over what the necklaces are, what the stones are, anything like that, because that was not the format that Freya brought to me. What I'm going to do is turn on my usual meditation music, give you guys some time with the energies, ask Freya to guide you, ask your ancestors for help. They are the bridge between you and her. If you do not have a direct connection, if you wish to have a direct connection, all you have to do is ask. Trust yourself. Trust your truest self and allow yourself to be led. And I will see you at your piles. Hello, pile one. If you chose the first necklace, this is your message from Freya. Excuse me, guys. So before I get into the message, I did want to make mention one more time. This is a collaboration with the one and only Alyssa from Celtic Fairy Tarot. Her link for her reading in this collaboration is in the description box below. So make sure you guys go and check hers out and give her some love if you aren't coming from hers. If you are, welcome. So these messages are about getting to know the real you, allowing for the real you to come out, moving beyond the stories of everyone else. The first card that you guys have is the card 40, and it's as above, so below, and it says manifestation. 40 reduces down to a 4, and 4s are about the foundation, the material, the here and now. It is very much the so below energy, but this saying is more than just as above, so below. This energy, this saying is also as within, so without. In a lot of ways, I think about with these as above, so below, as within, so without, it's like the 4 cardinal directions on a compass, north, south, east, and west. And we associate different things with the 4 directions. We associate different elements. We associate different energies, wisdoms, and even archangels. But in the center of that, there is that center point in the compass from which we find that direction. That's where we anchor the compass point to show us where to go, where we are, where we're headed, where we came from, what's beside us and around us. It's that center point. This is about the center point that is you. Now, the necklace that you chose with this message, and if you watch the intro, you know we're not focusing on the crystals themselves, but this necklace itself. Taking this necklace off, it's about removing the things that are wrapped around your foundation of self, your inner knowing. It's taking off the thorns from the roses and allowing yourself to see the beauty of the petals, allowing yourself to see the dance that happens when a flower blossoms, to understand that every part of the flower is important, not just the thorns, not just the protection, not just what you have to do to survive, what you have to do to get by, but it's about the roots, the water that gives it life, the sunlight that feeds and nourishes it, but also about the colors, the petals, the delicate unfolding. When we're thinking about manifestation, when we're thinking about the way that we want the world to be or the way that we want our lives to be, we think about all the externals. We think about, this is how I'm going to feel when, and then you fill in after that, when I have the job I desire, when I have the relationship I desire, when I am doing the creative thing that I want to do. But the point of that is not about the when. It's about the feeling. It's about the inner, the center point. It's about knowing that this is who you are and what you are meant to experience. Everything else outside of that is window dressing. The flower holds so much wisdom. And oftentimes we think about the window dressing. We think about just the color or the type of flower and what it means. You know, a pink rose for friendship, or for light, being in like, a red rose for being in love, yellow for happiness, white for purity. But each and every rose has a stem, has leaves, has a story. It came from somewhere. And in cutting the flower and putting it together with other flowers, it becomes more than just it's one color, it's one type. It becomes an entire spectrum of beauty and symbolism. It becomes more. You are more than just the outward appearance, more than just the physical and the material. You are spiritual. You are divine. You are divine masculine. You are divine feminine. You are so much more. And when we live in a state of, I must have this to feel secure, to feel safe, to express myself, we actually end up putting limitations on our manifestations. We put limitations on our actual foundation. Freya wants you to think more along the lines of, my heart says this, and therefore I am. My heart is, so I am. Everyone else's storyline of Freya, those were their stories. Her story is hers. Your story is yours. So as you move forward, as you harness the energy of your inner self, of that center point of the compass, she wants you to think about who you are at the core. So let's see this energy here. This is going to represent who you are at the core. And then these are just some guidance moving forward. We have the 7 of Wands. It says witches should hold other witches accountable. Now, there's a difference between accountability and accusation. And I wanted to say accusation, and it really was hard for me to get out. I don't feel as though, it doesn't feel as though you're holding others accountable, but it may be that you're holding yourself accountable to a force, a belief, a perception that you have to do, be, or seem a specific way in order to not have so many things come against you, not have so many people come against you, not have so many odds stacked against you. But there's a difference between accusation and accountability. In this case, we see many people that are pointing fingers. When we point our fingers at another person, at another situation, we aren't holding any kind of accountability. In order to hold someone accountable, we also must be accountable to ourselves. Sometimes we can find ourselves surrounded in situations that feel like we're doing the right thing. It feels like we're doing what we're meant to do. And we do what we think we must. But when we're constantly taking care of others, sometimes we forget how to take care of ourselves. This is about you coming back together with yourself and realizing, I can't expect a change to occur outside of me if I don't make a change within myself. And the greatest changes that we make within ourselves are simply by looking at ourselves in the mirror and loving who we are, loving what we see, seeing how brave and daring we are, seeing how capable we are of choosing our path, of choosing the direction that we want to go, and being the one to aim the compass point rather than being privy to the fluctuations and the changes and the way that it swings back and forth and puts us on a path. It's about us choosing the path and going on it. And when we do that and we say, okay, this is how I'm holding myself accountable. I'm holding myself accountable by practicing what I preach. I am holding myself accountable by honoring myself. I am holding myself accountable by taking the risks and the chances and the opportunities that I know are meant for me, because I want to live my fullest life. And I feel safe and secure within myself to do that. That's what true accountability is. And in doing that, we say, this is how I hold myself. And then you move forward into the world. As within, so without. Now you're interacting with others who hold themselves accountable. And therefore, there is an accountability chain of equality, of harmony, rather than accusation. So let's take a look at this side first. We have Moon Goddess with higher power. And we have Confidence, 32. By earth and air, water and fire, let my confidence take light, burn higher. I love that because this tells me, first of all, we're talking about the elements, the 4 directions. We're talking about the compass, and this has it all on there. This is about you having that creative knowing. There's a part of you within your sacral chakra that understands, it knows, it holds that wisdom, that power, that awareness. I'm reading a book called The Witches of Ash and Ruin, and there's a line in it that I just read shortly ago. And she talks about how there's one witchling that is seen as weak because she lets her emotions out. She lets her emotions rule her. And that's a common misconception. Many people believe that our emotions make us weak. They distort things, but our emotions are a direct tie to our higher selves, to a higher power, to a higher awareness within ourselves. When you tap into your emotions and you allow yourself to feel the truth of where you want to go, how you want to move, what you want to do, and who you truly are, not who you want to be, but the truth of who you are. That's when you step more fully into this awareness that your emotions are a very powerful resource for you. They help you understand the nature of being human and divine, the nature of love, of loss, of grief, of joy. The entire spectrum of the experience that we as souls chose to live this life through. When we negate that, we're negating a crucial, essential part of ourselves. Freya is saying, look at this power that you have confidence in this. Have confidence in this part of yourself, this core central part of yourself, because it's your emotions, your true nature that is so divine, that it holds this wisdom, it holds this higher power. Have confidence in this part of yourself and let yourself be taken to a higher level of awareness as above. So let's take a look at this side is so below. We have domicile moon with abundance. And we have the card 5 with justice. By the power of 3 by 3, Ma'at delivered justice to me. Here we have everything coming back to your heart, back to balance, back to harmony, just like I said. This is saying when you step into who you truly are, when you really harness all of what you are, when you stop phrasing things like who I am becoming, who I want to be, and you see that the person that you want to be is the person that you are internally. It's the person that's been asking you to just look and see that this is who you are. This is when you realize that you have already been in this energy for so much of your life that you don't need to continue to fear people pointing fingers at you, saying you're the weird one, you're the strange one, you're not doing this, you're not doing that, or you are doing this and you are doing that. But you will know the truth of who you are. And when you know that within your heart, that's when justice comes in. And justice doesn't look at the window dressings. Justice doesn't look at the outside picture. Justice looks at the internal, at the truth, at the higher power, at the as above, the as within. because that's when it comes out into the world. As many storylines as you have had in your life, your truest storyline is you. And this is about you truly honoring yourself, honoring your higher power, your own confidence, and allowing your heart to guide you moving forward. It's about knowing that every part of you matters. And the core of you, the truth of you, that's the only storyline that matters. Everyone else can tell whatever tales they want. When you know you, you're true. Okay, pile one, this is a message that I have for you from the loving goddess Freya. I want to say thank you so much for being here. Thank you to your guides, my guides, the Great Spirit. And thank you to the goddess Freya for connecting these energies, for flowing these messages, this love, this truth, this clarity through. Thank you. Thank you as well to Alyssa for this amazing collaboration. Pile one, please make sure you guys give her a lot of love. Check out her reading if you haven't already. And if you guys enjoyed this reading and it resonated and you would like to support my channel, I would truly appreciate that. Some of the ways you can do that are liking this video, commenting in the comment section below. You can also subscribe to my channel. And if any of you feel called, you can go to my description box. There are links to donate to my channel there. And with all that said, I'm going to leave you here. Thank you again for being here. I love you all. You are such beautiful souls, and I will see you at my next reading. Bye. Hello, pile two. If you chose the second necklace, this is your message from the goddess Freya. And before we get into it, I did want to make sure to mention that this is a collaboration with the amazing Alyssa from Celtic Fairy Tarot. So if you are coming from her collaboration, welcome. And if you are here first, please make sure that you go and check hers out. And the description is, wow, the link is in the description box. Okay, we're going to get into it now. Pile two. Your core card is this 36 bathing in the river, and it says self-care. This card talks about how it is a card that supersedes everything else, every other card imaginable. This is when the calling to take care of yourself becomes so profound that to ignore it is to really negate yourself. One moment, guys, I gotta let Willow out. Okay, pile two, I am back. Thank you guys so much for your patience. I know it's literally like 1 second to the next for you guys, but that took longer than normal. And the reason why is because Willow really wants me to go to bed. It's 9 o'clock at night, and she always taps into the energy quite profoundly. And that's why I always take whatever happens during a reading as part of the reading. Willow is my familiar. She is very attuned to my energy. She's very attuned to what I need. She knows that I'm very tired. And I can feel that pull that she has to me to call me to rest. Bathing in the river talks about that. It talks about self-care. And, we can identify or label self-care as a multitude of different things. It can be taking a salt bath. It can be eating, sleeping, resting. It can be going for a walk out in nature. What this really is about is recognizing when you have reached a limit, you've reached a point in which you just need to give yourself a break. When we live our life in a state of fight or flight, when we live our life in survival mode, the notion of self-care is quite literally a passing fancy. I was actually talking to my best friend just recently, like earlier today, about this exact idea, this exact notion, because she and I met while working at Planet Fitness, and we both experienced very similar, hers to a much higher degree, but it was a constant. There was never a break. There was never a day off. There was never time off. Everything was always constant. Our phones were on, our phones were ringing. Working a job as a manager of a 24-hour business, you're always going. There is no such thing as time off, because there is no break when the business closes, because the business doesn't. And shifting from that environment to one where you make your own schedule like I do, it was really hard for me in the beginning. It was really hard for me. I spent a lot of days and a lot of nights waking up continually, waking up, checking my phone, worried that I missed something important, worried that something was going wrong with the company, wrong with the business, even when I wasn't there anymore. As a parent, when my son Cooper was born, he was 5.5 weeks premature. He was in the NICU. He had what's called a hemangioma. It's a vascular tumor, a blood-filled tumor on his face. And normally, hemangiomas are strawberry birthmarks. They're not a big deal, but it was on his face, and it was in between his nose and his eye, and it grew rapidly, unexpectedly, and very, very rapidly. By the time he was 2 months old, I was barely sleeping, because there would be nights where I would have to wake him up to get him to open his mouth and breathe, because it was occluding his nostril, and he was a natural nose breather. And you get into those states, even if it isn't that kind of situation, but you get into those states where you don't feel as though rest is even possible. You can't take a break. You can't take a breather. When I was a young mom and my kids were little, there was no break. And so you live your life on the edge. The idea of self-care is maybe I'll get in a 5-minute shower if I can manage and have the help around me so that my kids aren't choking on something. Whatever the situation is, taking care of yourself is just as important as taking care of everybody else. And when we go through phases or times in our life where we are constantly, continually on edge, where it seems like there is danger around every corner, whether perceived or real, it really deeply impacts. So when you shift from something like that to a slower pace, to an easier flow, what feels dangerous then is the safety. What feels dangerous is the joy. What feels dangerous is the relaxation. What feels dangerous is self-care. And then we forget how to do it, or we weren't necessarily taught the right way to do it, or, an amalgam of both. Freya's story talks so much about her adventures and all the things that she did while she was searching for her husband, while she was collecting warriors, while she was teaching her craft, while she was engaged in all of these things. But that's the thing about mythology. That's the thing about stories. They don't talk about the in-between stuff. They don't talk about days off. They don't talk about this or that. They focus on the exciting stuff, on the stories and the proverbs and lessons and all of that. But they don't talk about taking care of oneself. In your story, it's time to fill in the space between the excitement and the lessons and the journey with the days off, with the rest, with the care, to give yourself the opportunity to remember that though the past has happened, where you are right now presently is a space in which it's calling for you to love yourself, to be more gentle with yourself, to give yourself more compassion and more grace, and to teach yourself how to care for yourself in whatever way is right for you in this moment. So let's take a look at this as your signifier card. We have the 10 of Cups. Okay, but sometimes it really is all rainbows and smiles. Exactly. We can go through these phases in the past, through our life, these journeys, these trials, where things aren't rainbows and smiles. And then we get into a phase where it is all rainbows and smiles, and we don't know how to deal with it. We don't know what to do with it because it doesn't feel safe. It doesn't feel right. I'm at a phase in my life where I have some very strong, very important friendships. They don't always feel safe to me because I'm not accustomed to equality in friendships and mutuality in connections. And so I tell my friends a lot, this doesn't feel safe to me because of something that happened in my past. And in acknowledging that, I'm able to remind myself, those things were in the past. This is the present. So let's take a look at these cards over here as signifiers of the past so that you can see where you've come from. And then we're going to look at your advice for the present. So in the past, we have Moonlight with Enchanted. Interesting. And 27 with Harmony. As I create, I will share. Harmony divine with love and care. Now, what this is telling me is that in the past, there were moments, situations, connections in which it seemed like, okay, now I'm going to have harmony. Now I'm going to have the rainbows and smiles. Now I'm going to have the peace and the joy and the happiness. Now I'm going to have everything. And it was like an enchanted dream. It was like being in a fairy tale. And I'm actually seeing, I think it's the evil queen from Snow White, where she's looking in the mirror and she's saying, mirror, mirror on the wall, who is the fairest of them all? And she's looking into this enchanted mirror, and what she's expecting is harmony. What she's expecting is to hear that she is the fairest one of all, but what she gets is the truth. And the truth is that this enchanted mirror is not going to lie. It's going to say this is what it actually is. And so she endeavors to create the situation in which she is that way. And so I'm not saying that you're the wicked witch. What I'm saying is that you are the evil stepmother. What I'm saying is you went through this phase where you expected something to appear enchanted, harmonious, happy. That's what you were waiting for, looking for. That's what you expected. And if you expect that and then that doesn't come, then you have to learn how to adjust to that. And then it feels dangerous anytime this comes up again. Anytime there's that portal, that doorway to something better, something greater, something happier, to that sunshine, roses and daisies and joy and laughter, to the waves on the beach and building sandcastles. You know, one of the biggest things for me, I always say that when you get me on the beach, when you get me by the ocean, I am like a little kid again. But when I walk off the beach, I'm back into my adult self, and all of the things are still there. So you could go through these things in the past where everything seemed like it was just going to be so magical, and it didn't get there. And when you don't have that, then you get into a kind of 9 of Wands energy where it's the wounded warrior. And you've got 2 9s here. It's closing out a cycle. And when we talk about closing out a cycle, we really don't think about how hard closing those cycles really are. Because they are a challenge, because you have to learn to let go. You have to learn to discern the past from the present. And if in the past, everything seemed very shiny and like it was all going to be great, and then it wasn't, it can be hard to be able to look in the present and see the shiny and believe that it is actually shiny. So let's take a look at the present for you guys. Oh my gosh, moon memories with the past. See? And number 7 with wisdom. On a Wednesday with a waxing moon, let wisdom come and be renewed. This is Freya coming to you and saying, it's okay to see the shiny now, because what you can look at in the past is merely a memory. It's a memory in which you gain wisdom, knowledge, awareness, you gain growth, you gain a sense of self in who you are now, in the changes that you have made now. You have gained everything that you need by allowing yourself to look at everything realistically, so that now you can look at the past and say, yes, that was hard, but look at me now. Look where I've come now. And in doing so, you're actually engaging in a form of self-care, because what you're doing is you're saying, okay, this was a really hard time. I thought my voice would be heard. I thought that I would be seen. I thought that my life was going to get better, and it didn't. I walked through the moon door and it was just darkness. And when I say moon door, I can't help but think of Game of Thrones, and the moon door is literally like where they throw people down and they just like plummet. So you walked through the moon door, you thought it was going to be magical and mystical and wonderful, and it wasn't. But you're here and you've survived and you've overcome and you've moved beyond it. And now you can look at it and be like, yeah, that was a really challenging time. And I can, just like the story I told about my son, I can look back and yeah, that was a really challenging time. But tomorrow I get to go spend all day watching him play soccer, watching him excel and exceed. And we didn't know that he was going to live. But we've overcome that. And the wisdom gained from that is that, you know, for me, the wisdom gained from that is that a mother's love and intuition will always know. What have you gained from it? Where is the wisdom? And allow that wisdom to really take hold in your root, to really take hold in your heart, so that when you look at the past, even the darkest parts, the parts where it felt like it was all just a fabrication, a magical illusion, you look at it and you say, but I broke through it. But I learned to fly. And now I'm going to take care of myself, to love myself, to live fully and fill in the in-betweens between the excitement and the next excitement. I'm going to fill that with love, with softness, with joy, with laughter. I'm going to honor the past by living in the present. All right, pile 2, this has been your message from the goddess Freya. I want to say thank you so much for being here. Thank you to your guides, my guides, the Great Spirit and the goddess Freya, for coming forth with these messages, with this love, this wisdom, this clarity, this softness, this beauty. Thank you so much. Thank you as well to Alyssa from Celtic Fairy Tarot. Don't forget to check the description box for the link to her reading. And pile 2, if this resonated and you would like to support my channel, I would truly appreciate that. Ways that you can do that are liking this video, commenting in the comment section. You can also subscribe to my channel, and in the description box, there are also links to donate to my channel. All of these are ways that you can show my channel some love, show me some love, and help support my channel's continued creativity. Make sure you guys check out Alyssa. I know I've said it before, but I'm going to say it again because she's just incredible. And Pile 2, thank you again for being here. I love you guys. I will see you at my next reading. Bye. Hello, Pile 3. If you chose the third necklace, this is your message from the goddess Freya. And before we get into the message, this is a collaboration with the amazing Alyssa from Celtic Fairy Tarot. So if you are here from her channel, welcome. And if you haven't checked her reading out, please do. So let's get directly into it. First of all, your core card is the card 13. This is a reading for Friday the 13th, which is Freya's day. And it says the initiation or a sacred test. Now, the necklace in question, I actually got this necklace from the Mindful Souls subscription box. And I got it the week that my grandma passed. I wore it to her funeral or her celebration of life. And my aunt looked at that necklace and she said, I saw a tarot reader a long time ago. And I have a necklace just like this one. And she told me that I needed that necklace to help me with my intuition. And this particular necklace has the tree of life on it. And it has green aventurine and amethyst, and it's wrapped in copper around a clear quartz crystal that can be programmed. And while none of these messages are about the necklace itself, the energy is here talking about this particular need, the initiation, a sacred test, a programming, an intention here. Now, we can get really exhausted by initiations, by sacred tests, by feeling challenged. But Pile 3, you are the one that is designing the initiation this time. That's what Freya wants to talk about. If you missed the intro, and even if you didn't, some of what I talked about in that intro was about the storylines of Freya's story and how when I tapped into her energy and worked with her in the beginning, it was a different story that I got. A story of dedication, of love, of determination, of power utilized in the right way for the right reasons, of authenticity. Freya has such a gentle energy when I work with her, a very loving energy, but it does not mean that she does not have power. And she determines the tests. She determines what she's going to endure and go through, what she's going to engage in. No one else. This is what she wants you to see about yourself. You are the one that is designing everything. You hold the creative pen, the authorial sword of your own storyline. This sacred test is not so much you being tested by the universe or you being tested by life. This is about you testing things, people and situations, testing them against what you know to be true, against who you know yourself to be. It's about you seeing the power that you hold within yourself, the goodness, the generosity, the creativity, and the love. When my grandma passed, I thought that was going to be the biggest trial of my life. And in a big way, it was, but it was more of me testing myself to see how far I have come in allowing for myself to grieve, to be true to myself, to work through my life and my emotions, to share, but also to protect the parts of myself that I needed to protect. To choose to see death and the people that I love that have passed as reasons to live rather than reasons to stop living my life. Whatever your current initiation energy is, this is about you realizing that this is on your terms now. This is for you to determine how it's going to go, because you're determining each individual step. It's like you're a content creator creating a course for other people. And you know all the steps. You know all of the ways to navigate through. So you're designing it to help others. And as you design it, you're initiating yourself into it so that when it comes time, those who step up to go through the same initiation understand that they have a worthy, wise, loving, true guide to help them move through it. So let's take a look at your core energy card here first. Yes, we have the 9 of Swords. We all get a bit carried away with our worries sometime. This initiation phase for you is about learning the mental body, the way that it works its way through things and out of things, how it can create a problem and how you can solve the problem that it's created. You see, she's sitting up and it's 3 o'clock, which is the witching hour. But the swords are already organized, neat, and hanging on her wall. She's already organized and situated them. But sometimes we forget that we have already put them all in their rightful places. And so we know that they're above our head and we can think they might fall, they're going to hit us, but they are very well secured. So all of these different things you've already gone through, the tests, the trials, the challenges, you've gone through them. They're already on the wall. They're like your diploma or your degree. You know, if you walk into a doctor's office and they have their medical degree on the wall, these swords are the equivalent of your medical degree. You've already gone through it. You've already done the test. You've already gotten the certification for this situation. And I can't give you a specific situation. It feels very much in the mental body, very much in the self-help and the mindset. To me, this is very strongly in here. But this is about you realizing that you already have the certification. You already have the know-how. You already have passed the test. So while it feels as though there's an initiation going on, the initiation is actually you initiating this new phase based off of what is already hanging on the wall, that certification, that authenticity of self that you have already overcome. So I want to look at this side because this is going to represent what the test was. And this is going to be some guidance for you in how Freya sees you as the initiator. So we have Moonflower with Take a Risk. And we have the card 35 with Victory. I shall celebrate and I shall rise. I will let victory make me wise. Okay. One of the hardest things to do when you are working on changing a mindset, when you're working on taking a risk, when you're working on making a change, if you look, this almost looks like a wheel, like like a ship's wheel, like you're a ship captain. But at the same time, when I look at it, I think of a compass, and it doesn't have any clear direction on it. So when you first take that first step into something new, something you're not you don't feel necessarily comfortable in. So you're taking a risk. You're making that leap. What you're aiming for is victory. You're aiming for, it's like the Holy Grail. And when I look at this cup, I see the Holy Grail. You're aiming for that cup. And now I'm actually seeing the scene from Indiana Jones and The Last Crusade, where they have to cross this invisible walkway. And in there's a bunch of cups. And only one of those cups is the Holy Grail. And so he goes in, and the first man goes in, he finds the most beautiful, the most ornate, the most bejeweled and golden cup, and he drinks from it. And it kills him, it poisons him, because he chose poorly. He chose for the looks. And then Indiana Jones goes in and he sees the right cup. He chooses the most plain one because he knows that the Holy Grail was during a time where it would have looked this way. And he doesn't go for what would be expected amongst all these gorgeous, beautiful, ornate cups, bejeweled and shining and glimmering. He goes for the most plain and he chooses correctly. This is about you knowing the path that is right for you. The biggest risk that we can take is going with what no one would expect. That was your test, was simply taking that risk, leaping into something new, leaping into something that you weren't expecting and you couldn't have foreseen how it was going to go, and just blind faith. Blind faith is one of the hardest things for humanity to do. Especially in this day and age when it feels like there's so much out of control, that blind faith means that we recognize that we really don't have any control whatsoever. And so we have to relinquish the control to what we believe, what we feel, what our intuition tells us. Leaping into something like that, one of the biggest things that I can say is, for me, doing this channel was a risk. This life was a risk for me. This spiritual life, opening myself up to my gifts, it was a huge risk. But I'm here and I'm speaking to you and I'm reaching you, and that is a victory for me. What is it that you leaped into that was a victory? That was your test. So let's see you as the initiator now for others. We have Moon set with releasing, and 30 with health. Mother Earth sweet, Mother Earth bright, bring to me your health and might. Okay, I actually really love this. It's such a beautiful energy because this is helping you to see this side of yourself, is going to help you to release some of the perspective on what is and isn't healthy. A lot of the times when we are working with a mental body, we can lose sight, so to speak, of the physicality of things. But when we realize that we've already conquered this area, we've conquered it. It's the degree on the wall. Now you can release and let yourself come back into a state of better health, coming back into a state of better awareness within your body so that your mind and your body align. Now you're moving forward. And because you've already taken this risk, you've already had this victory, now you can set about a means of helping others release certain things, mentalities, mindsets, perceptions, even ways of eating, ways of moving their body that lock them down, that keep them trapped in an old way of being and hinder their physical health. Some of you may be called to Reiki. Some of you may be called to yoga. Those are just some of them. Some of you I'm actually picking up like holistic healing or like food healing. But when you start working through what you're working through and you decide this is how I'm going to move forward in the world and this is how I'm going to adjust, even if it isn't content creation, even if it isn't a profession, just by sharing what you've gone through, the victory that you've had, the risks you have taken, the tests and challenges you have overcome, you actually initiate others into seeing that they have the ability to release certain things that are hindering their physicality, their physical body. And when you do that, you actually keep feeding into this beautiful cycle and circle. It's like creating an Ouroboros of healing, a perpetual healing phase within yourself, so that this Nine of Swords becomes this state of, instead of worrying, carrying you away, when you wake up at night, you remember, I have them on the wall. I have this degree. I have this overcoming. I have this awareness and certification already internally. I have this. I have this victory already. And now I can allow for that to become imaginative. So instead of laying up awake at night worrying, you're allowing your mind to roam, your imagination to expand, and you're allowing a release and moving into greater health moving forward. And I'm really excited for you, Pile 3. This is pretty cool. But this is the message that I have for you from the goddess Freya, Pile 3. I want to say thank you so much for being here. Thank you to your guides, my guides, the Great Spirit and the goddess Freya, for being here with us, for sharing this wisdom, for this uplifting energy, and for these messages. Thank you. Thank you as well to Alyssa for this amazing collaboration. Make sure you guys check the description box for the link to her reading. And Pile 3, if this resonated and you would like to support my channel, I truly appreciate that. Some of the ways you can do that are by liking this video, commenting in the comment section below. You can also subscribe to my channel. And if you are feeling called, in the description box, there are also links to donate to my channel. Any and all of these are great ways to support my channel, support this creative endeavor that I do, support me and the time and energy that I put into it, and help these messages reach the collective. And I really appreciate it. All right, Pile 3, my loves, this is where I leave you. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you at my next reading. Bye. Hello, Pile 4. If you chose the 4th necklace, this is your message from Freya. And before we get into the message, I did want to remind you guys this is a collaboration with the amazing Alyssa from Celtic Fairy Tarot. If you're coming from her reading, welcome. It's so great to have you. And if you are here first, please make sure that you go and check her reading out, give her a lot of love and support, and receive messages from Freya from her as well. And the link for that is in the description box. So Pile 4, I'm actually filming your pile the day after I filmed all the other ones, because when your cards came out, I suddenly felt like, okay, I need to rest first. I need to do a meditation, a sleep meditation. And I had some really vivid dreams, and they all felt very important to this. Now, your core energy card that Freya wants to talk to you about is the card 33, and it says poison, thorn, or low vibrations. And this card, this energy talks about not even the card, it's just the message itself. And the dreams that I was brought to last night talk about how we can have this desire to help others. We can have this desire to fix others or save others. And sometimes we engage in that and we do it to the point that we don't realize we're doing it to our own detriment. Sometimes we end up being the ones that get pricked by the thorn. Now, the card itself talks about, being in low vibration and engaging in low vibrational things. But that wasn't the message that came through. You know what helps your energy. You know what is right for you. You know what is toxic in your life and what is healthy for you. These are things that you already know. You have that knowledge within yourself. And the rest of the world can have their opinions about it, but they aren't you. I am not you, and you are not me. We are one in spirit, but in this world, in this physical existence, we are different. And that is a beautiful blessing because it means that you know yourself above and beyond anyone else. And we can engage in certain things that some people would say are low vibrational. I always come back to there was a spiritual guru or spiritual teacher, if you will, who talked about letting go of emotions and not experiencing emotions and emotions being very low vibrational. And in order to raise your vibrations, you have to see your emotions as kind of an outside force, something that isn't true to you, and only observe them. It became very clinical, very detached. And there's a difference between true release and being detached, because release means that you understand and you have navigated your way through the emotions and you're choosing to let go and move forward. And now you have a greater awareness of those emotions and the lessons that they bring, versus detachment, where essentially you're putting yourself into a state of lack because you don't want to experience the emotions, and therefore you lack the awareness of how they impact you and what their purpose is. Pile 4, you have this depth of emotional awareness. And so the rest of the world saying this is low vibrational or that is low vibrational doesn't fit within the standards or the guidelines or the limitations or the boundaries that you are, that constitutes who you are. And Freya wants you to realize what is truly low vibrational for you, not what I say, not what she says, not what the world says, but what is it that is like the poison thorn in your life? What are you engaging in on a consistent basis that depletes your energy? And are you ready to face that? Are you ready to look at that? Are you ready to spread your wings and rise above that? And sometimes that's the hardest thing to do, because sometimes those things that are those poison thorns are people that we love. And we realize you can still love someone and not save them. You can still love someone and not continually engage in the patterns that leave you depleted, that leave you feeling as though you have had all your energy removed from you. You can still do these things and love these people and maintain a high vibration because you're honoring yourself. And that's really the core of what she wants you to be aware of with this card. So let's take a look at your core energy here. We have the card 12, the Patient Witch. It says, learn to get comfortable with sitting still whenever necessary. One of the hardest things that I have had to learn as a parent, and a parent to an adult, is that I can't swoop in and save my daughter from everything. I can't fix all of her worldly woes. I can't piece together her life for her, because she'll never learn. She will perpetually be dependent on another person to solve everything. And it actually supports victim mentality versus helping build strong character. I can be there for advice when and if it's asked for. But I have had to learn the hard way that sometimes stepping back is the best form of parenting. And it's very anathema to the way that I parent my children because I'm a very involved mom. I want to make sure that they're okay. I want to make sure that they know that they have love and they have support and they have a cheering section. But as an adult, she needs to know that she can do that for herself. Sometimes we have to learn to step back. And especially with this poison thorn and the way the message is coming out, sometimes the first step is stepping back. And learning to step back means that we learn how to witness. We learn how to observe. We learn how to love without having to become twisted up in it and end up getting stabbed by a poison thorn, in essence. So let's take a look at this side. This is the stepping back energy, why you're stepping back, and this is guidance moving forward. So we have Quicksilver Moon with changes. These cards are so beautiful. I love them. And we have the card 5, Justice. By the power of 3x3, Ma'at, deliver justice to me. When we have a change of heart, when life comes in and everything gets thrown off kilter and we realize, okay, I need to make a change. I need to shift this. I need this to be different. That's when we have to realize that sometimes stillness is the best change. You know, the patient witch is also the hanged man, and the hanged man is Odin. And Odin is deeply tied to Freya, but Odin willingly went to the Yggdrasil, I can't say that word, tree, and hung upside down in order to receive the wisdom of the runes. It was a willing sacrifice that he made to receive this wisdom and brought that wisdom into this world. He had to decide a change needs to be made. I need greater awareness. I need greater wisdom. So I am going to step back and I'm going to do this. And it will be rebalanced. And I love that this candle went out during your reading because it's the first candle to go out during any of the readings. It's a change that is ready to be made. This candle is now ready to be changed to a different one because the wick has burned as far into the wax as it can, and it did still leave some wax behind. And sometimes that is something that we have to accept. That is something that we have to be willing to engage in. Okay, the wax didn't burn all the way. There is still something left, but the wick is gone. The fire is gone. The flame is gone. The passion is gone. And so it's time to make a change. So I can take this candle out and replace it with another orange one, or with a pink one, or with a white one, or with a blue one. With a blue one, I can do that with this candle because it's time to make a change. The wax remaining could be seen as, well, there's still so much to do. There's still this left. There's still that left. Or you can look at it and say, what is remaining in this is love. So while this path, this relationship, this connection, this way of interacting with other people, this way of being in the world, the flame of that has gone down. It has gone out. What remains, what didn't burn away, is love. So let's take a look at your guidance moving forward. We have blood moon with courage. And the card 8, destiny. All that I shall need to know as I walk shall now be shown. I'm continually being brought to, my lesson as a parent. There was a point in time where I realized that if I were to continue to swoop in and take care of everything, to fight her battles for her, to be that person, that I would actually be hindering not just her, but myself. Sometimes the most courageous thing that we can do is say, okay, I know I have this path. I know I have this purpose. I know I have this calling. I know I loved this thing, this relationship, this person. I know I loved this career path. I know I loved this. But I know it also got to a point where it was toxic for me. It was poison for me. It was just all around not good for me, mind, body, and soul. Sometimes the most courageous thing that we can do is say, I know I still have a destiny. I know I have a purpose. I know I have a path, and I know that I am meant to walk down it. Freya had so many odds stacked against her. Her husband was missing. She was on a mission, a journey, a purpose, a destined path to find him again. That was what she did. And along the way, she had the courage to go outside the bounds of propriety and what people believed women should be. She engaged with gods. She engaged with dwarves. She went down in the history books and she made herself known. She shared her gifts. She shared her wisdom. She shared her knowledge. And she left her mark courageously in this world so that those who came after could look to her lessons, and could say, if she could do that during that time, during that day, during that age, if she could overcome these things and be this strong, independent figure, so can I. The blood moon is often misconstrued as evil, as bad. And now we have a second candle going out. It's seen as this evil thing, but the truth of the blood moon is it calls to us mind, body, and soul. It calls to the blood that thrums through our body, and it says, step forward. Step forward into your destiny. Step forward into your path. Step forward into your purpose. The changes that you're making, that is being true to your heart. You were called to make these changes because it was necessary, because it was time, because you needed your heart to be as light as a feather when weighed by Ma'at. And now you have a calling that you know is true. You know that what came before left its mark in love. It left its mark in truth, in justice, in peace, in prosperity. It left its mark, and you are exactly where you're meant to be. So now is the time for you to sit back and say, I am going to courageously step forward into my destiny. I am going to go and achieve or be anything, everything that I desire. I'm going to take my time. I'm going to sit still. I'm going to rest. I'm going to allow myself to reflect, and I'm going to allow myself to be open to higher wisdom, higher knowledge, higher awareness, so that as I move forward from this point, my life is in my hands, my destiny is in my hands, and my path is forged for me. No longer identifying yourself based off of what anyone else says, but what you know is true. All right, my loves. This has been the message that I have for you from Freya. I want to say thank you so much for being here, Pile 4. Thank you to your guides, my guides, the Great Spirit, and the Goddess Freya. I want to say thank you also to Alyssa from Celtic Fairy Tarot for this amazing collaboration. Make sure you guys check her out if you haven't already. And Pile 4, if this resonated and you would like to support my channel, I would truly appreciate that. Ways that you can do that are by liking this video, commenting in the comment section below. You can also subscribe to my channel. And in the description box, there are links to donate to my channel. Any and all of these are great ways for you to support my channel, support my creative endeavors, and help these messages reach the collective they're meant for. All right, without further ado, this is where I'm going to leave you, Pile 4. I hope you have a beautiful, amazing day. If you're watching this on the release, have a beautiful Friday the 13th. And I wish you the best. I will see you at my next reading. Bye.